Hello everyone, I'm Inverse, and welcome to the very first Company of Heroes 2 first-person video. This looks like we got a game on Kaladne Pharma Battlefield against Sabotage 999, a level 13 Austher player. This is probably my favorite 1v1 map right now. Kaladne is excuse me, it's nice, and it's very nice in terms of how open it is. There's a lot of flank routes and stuff like that. The resource distribution could be better, but it's not too bad, and there's not very many big choke points, which is a problem with Pripyat. Of course, as you saw in my earlier videos, there's those choke points in the middle, and though there's ways to deal with them, it's something I'd rather not have to deal with, and so for that reason I try to avoid it as best I can. Of course, no way to avoid it. No way to avoid it in auto match. But I'll be showing you guys my standard Soviet build right now. It's a 4 conscript start. I send my first engineer straight to whatever the closest fuel point is. In this situation, I'll send it straight down south here, and I'll connect it with my first conscript. My second conscript is going to cap this munitions point, while this conscript heads up in the middle here and sits behind this green cover while waiting for either an infantry squad that he might have to fight, or a just cap and move on to up here. I like to control the bottom as quickly as possible because most of the fighting occurs on the top of this map. So I try to get a head start on the bottom so that I can then focus most of my attention on the top right away. It also gives me a solid foundation of resources, gives me a lot of strategic points, and then this munitions and a fuel point as well. Now, the nice thing about this green cover right there is it is actually in range of your of capping. So you can sit in there, you can cap to your pretty little heart's desire, and then you can move out once you've dealt your damage. Cover doesn't seem to be nearly as potent in Company of Heroes 2 as it was in vanilla Company of Heroes. But it's definitely something that you should pay attention to, and is something that you should do your best to exploit as much as possible. Another thing that's very smart and something you should keep in mind is always try and close in close to your opponent and get inside the radius of the capping. This allows you to stop your opponent's cap and slows, or quickens rather, the rate at which you can recap it yourself, because unlike in vanilla Company of Heroes, points count down before they count up for you. So that's something you're gonna have to keep in mind, is before you can actually recap a point, even if it hasn't been fully capped by your opponent, you have to fully decap it. Now he's got an MG right there, so I'm going to wait until I can flank with a flamer squad that I'm going to build right here. I have my 4 conscripts, which is the early game that I like. I'm getting the heal upgrade directly afterwards. Then I'm going to flank a little bit, and I'm eventually going to... Okay, he already has tier 2 now, which was clear from that. I'm going to move in with my 2 conscripts. These 2 should be able to beat this grenadier squad easily. Meanwhile, I'm going to set up my flank in the middle so that once I've pushed this squad up, I can cap, and then I can also flank in the middle. And I might have to retreat this squad if I'm unlucky, but we'll see. I have my flamer now. My flamer's going to come in from this angle. This guy's going to come in from over there, and it doesn't even look like I'm going to have to retreat that squad. So I build a second engineer usually after I've built my first one, or after I've built all the other things that I want, just because it makes it a little bit easier for me to get my tech up a little bit later. Now I've got really nice map control at this point in the game, so I'm just going to set up one single flank on this MG. I'm going to jump my conscript into this building right away, and that's going to draw the MG fire. I'm then going to come in from the side with both my conscript and my engineer, while this guy is going to chill over here and eventually build his tier 2. I'm pretty sure he repositioned his MG, or retargeted his MG, which is why I stopped and split those two squads up. He also might have a mortar. I'm not too sure about that. No worry though, we'll get my tier 2 up, and we'll move in as best we can with these two units. It doesn't look like, it looks like he repositioned once again, so I should be able to move in. I'm going to surround from 3 different areas just to make it a little bit more difficult for him. There. He's going to retreat. I'm actually going to probably lose that squad. One difficult thing about flanking in Company of Heroes 2 is without mortars or flamethrowers, you'll notice units actually do not take very much damage in buildings. And in this situation, it's not too big of a deal because I have the entirety of the map. I have, as you can see, a whole whack of resources. I will be able to get my tier 3 up very shortly, and because I have the rest of the map, and because my opponent has been so passive about it, it's going to be relatively easy for me to recover from that slight loss of infantry and my lack of ability to actually push him off the middle. So it's not going to hurt me all that much. But at the same time, it would have been better if I had executed that flank a little bit smoother. But no worry, we'll be okay. You'll notice I actually built my tier 2 fairly forward. This is a old Company of Heroes 1 convention where you usually want to build your early tier infantry buildings further forward for a couple of reasons. First of all, in Company of Heroes, units came out of buildings rather than off map, so you wanted those units to be as close to the front as possible when they were created. The second reason was you wanted a forward reinforce point. The first reason doesn't really apply to Company of Heroes 2. The second reason, though, absolutely does. And for that reason, I recommend that you still try and build your early tier buildings as far forward as possible, just to give you that early reinforce point, which can be extremely valuable later in the game. You can see my opponent has tier 2 now. He has Panzer Grenadiers. That's perfectly fine. I've held that fuel point for a long time, and I don't really mind if he finally manages to recap it. I'm actually going to be able to build a T-34 right away. That's a very quick T-34 for me, in fact. 7 minutes and 40 seconds on the construction, which is very nice. I'm going to use Hit the Dirt. Hit the Dirt is this ability from the Rifle Anti-Tank Doctrine tree. It's extremely powerful. Negates suppression, which is extremely useful. It reduces damage taken, which is also obviously extremely useful. And I believe it increases accuracy, though I'm not positive on that front. But overall, it's an extremely useful ability to have, and it's an ability that you should do your best to exploit. Ooh, I lost a squad. That's not good. That's okay though. I'm gonna have my T-34. I'm gonna send him up to the north primarily to start off because he very well might have a pack in the middle. I don't want to risk that this early. I can also start upgrading submachine guns on my infantry, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get another. Ooh, am I really gonna lose that squad too? Ah, I lost 2 infantry squads. That's okay though. As long as I play well from this point forward, I should be alright. This guy is gonna move down here with cap. I'm probably gonna rebuild that conscript as well. I should have that one soon. Obviously you don't want to lose infantry squads. It's never good to lose conscripts. Another ability that you should always be using, at least as much as possible, is Ura, which is this ability right here. It gives you a nice speed boost, which can be very useful in blizzards, because it gives you less time caught out in the cold, less time taking damage from blizzards, being slowed by blizzards, stuff like that. So it's a very useful ability to have, and an ability that you should use as much as you can afford. It's only 5 munitions, which is... I'm going to run over this. I don't want to run over that. Am I going to run it over? I hope I don't. Try to avoid running over... Try to avoid running over fires if you can help it. It gives you... It damages your... Ooh, I thought you retreated. I am losing infantry left, right, and center right now. This is not good at all. It's okay. I should be able to do a lot of damage there. I'm gonna get an AT gun next, just to be safe. This guy should die soon. Oh, I thought I hit the dirt with you. My goodness, I am all over the place. This is what happens when I talk excessively while playing. This is why I usually don't do it. Ah, and my hotkeys aren't working. Why aren't you working? Oh, that's not good. Okay. We will get by. Whoa. Oh, control is stuck. Why is control stuck? Okay, now we're good. There we go. Whew. That was a terrifying moment for a second there. Okay. Should be able to deal a bit more damage to those guys. I'm not in the best position right now. I'm going to want an AT gun, though, right away, just to be sure, to be safe, because the one thing that can really damage me is something like a relatively quick vehicle, and in that case, a half-track actually... What did I just do? Something just happened. Machine gunner killed. Haha, poor guy. So, now that I've seen that, I'm going to... First of all, come up here. I'm going to get my AT grenades. I'm setting up a flank in the middle here with this flamethrower. So, on one side, I'm going to be able to... Oh, what are you trying to do? If he hasn't got this supported, this will not end well for him. That's okay. My flank is almost set up in the middle here. Meanwhile, I'm going to have AT grenades very shortly as well. I don't really care if he manages to get a Faust off on me. It's not too big a deal. He's going to jump in that building to draw fire. There's my AT gun. I didn't set the rally point properly, so he's just sitting there. There's one MG. There's also another MG right there. So if I position myself properly, I might be able to squeeze through here. Actually, I probably won't, but I'm going to try it anyways, and we'll see what happens. It's very easy to switch targets in Company of Heroes 2 with MGs, but I managed to squeeze right in there. That was a pleasant surprise. Right, so he's going to move over there. I'm going to keep attacking that guy. If we look in the middle here, I actually managed to decrew that one MG, which is awesome. He got a Faust off on me, which is annoying but not game-ending, and I'm actually going to be able to deal a lot of damage to him with this. I'm going to be able to get the AT grenade off, which is absolutely useful. There's his pack right now, but I can stay back, and I'll still be able to do a decent amount of damage to it. I also killed his... half-track very nicely there, and I'm going to move up with my conscripts to deal with that AT gun, and I'm also going to deal with it. I wonder if it's bugged, or if he's... Yeah, it looks like it's bugged. Look at that. Poor guy. That's unfortunate. Poor luck, but it is a beta. Things like that are obviously subject to change. Another thing to keep in mind is the tactical map, which I have open right now, is not completed. You'll notice right now it's pretty much just an expanded version of the mini-map. It's relatively difficult to see anything on there, but that's on the long list of things Relic is planning on improving for Company of Heroes 2. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to crew that MG. I'm just going to toss it. I'm going to actually... Can I hop? Actually, I've never tried hopping. I guess you can't hop... excuse me. I guess you can't hop fences with weapons teams. You can, however, cap with weapons teams that are even set up, which is a nice little perk of using MGs and stuff like that. is the ability to cap with them and defend your territory as well. Did I throw my... You gonna throw it, guys? Come on. Come on. There we go. Good boys. Alright, we're gonna go hit the dirt there. We're also gonna reinforce a little bit. Oops. That actually shouldn't matter at all. I'm gonna hop him in there. I'm gonna plant some mines. The Soviet mines are primarily anti-tank mines, but they can be useful as well as anti-infantry mines. They deal a decent amount of damage even to infantry. I ran over. Oh, coughing. I ran over another fire. That's not good. That's gonna make this blizzard a little bit more difficult to deal with. But that's okay. And at this point, I've got the map fairly well locked down, and it's going to be fairly difficult for my austere opponent. Oops. For my austere opponent to actually do anything about it, especially because I have this pack on my side of the map, thanks to that unfortunate bug. So I'm just going to run into the base, and we'll see what happens there, while I cap around the map a little bit more with the rest of my guys. Reinforce a little bit, move out. And we'll move into base and see what happens. What's that? Oh, we got another AT gun. Oh no! Immobilized. That's an unfortunate location to be immobilized. I'm actually going to run away, because this isn't a good position to be in. He has a Stug, by the looks of things, yes. He has a Stug, so I'm going to run away and live to fight another day. Because that was a slight... I kind of gave up. That T-34 was okay. I wanted to see what was going on. And given my current situation, it doesn't put me back all that far, so it is not too big of a deal. T-34s are, in my opinion, probably the best Soviet tank right now. And Tier 3 is probably the most useful tier in terms of what you want to be building in the mid and late game. Just because, oops, you guys are probably going to retreat so you can warm up. Let's actually grab his pack. I should have built, though I didn't build, but I should have built a fire in the middle here, because all my dudes are dying, and there is actually a fire a bit further up. And ooh, abandoned. Let's see if we can steal it. Can we steal it? Let's steal it. Let's take the Stug. Run away with the Stug. Slowly but surely, we will run away with the Stug. No! Oh, and the Stug died. Poor Stug. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. So let's reinforce our squads a bit more. Always a good idea to keep your squads fully reinforced, and that's game, guys. Thank you all for watching. It was a pleasure, and I will be doing a bunch more of these in the near future, so do check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.